Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Resonance Container podcast. I am your host, Callie Johnson. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your time with me. So, for this episode, I wanted to look at the things that we can't take with us to the party when we are going through an identity shift and either like trying to manifest something new in our life, whether that's, career, finances, love, all of that. Because this is something that, like, I personally struggled with is that full letting go of things that we've always identified with unconsciously that we're still holding on to that's preventing us from moving forward fully into the next phase of our lives. So, um, just to give you all a little story, um, my grandmother was an amazing woman. I definitely get my sass from her. She was a hard ass worker. She raised two girls pretty much by herself, um, worked multiple jobs. Um, and, my knowing her was always her as a gift giver, a gift giver. And she never like spared any expense when it came to the things that she wanted or to get us, which I always was just so grateful for. But, what this ended up turning into, like, later in life was kind of this issue of hoarding things. And after she died, there was just so much stuff to go through. And for years, like, my aunt even had to keep a storage unit, and we just, like, over the years have, like, gotten rid of the thing, like, I can't tell you how much stuff it was, like, unopened packages, like a room full of stuff. And there's a few things that I still have, that I like cherish deeply. But what that taught me at the time was, like, I don't want to be in a position when I get older to have, like, or just in general, like, have all of this stuff that I acquire and not feel like I can't let it go. And that shifted my mindset, like, as like very quickly. Like, I was able to start easily letting go of things in my 20s. Like, I got rid of a bunch of stuff, moved to Colorado for the first time with my friend. And from there, like, once I kind of started like getting that feeling of shedding things and letting go, it just got easier the older I got. And, like, now I am in like what is probably the most minimal stage of my life after having moved so many times. And while I didn't go full send backpacker mode for this, like, I am 36 years old, like, and I have a few like luxuries that I need in my life. Like, if I had traveled across the world when I was in my 20s, I probably could have done backpacker style. Now, was that the most practical to do suitcase? Traveling in Thailand, not the greatest, but you know what? I have slowed my travel down now, and the way I packed make more sense. But the point is that, like, I'm living the most minimalistically I've ever had in my life. And before I left, like, after all my travels and coming back to Chattanooga, I didn't have like any furniture of my own, like kitchenware, anything. I've pretty much just been hauling around my clothes, my electronics, and sentimental things for the past several years. And then before I left to travel, I did another big, like, letting go of my stuff. And what ended up staying home were the sentimental things, obviously, like things that you just can't replace. Um, some winter clothes because well, now I'm in Vietnam, but like I'm in Southeast Asia. I don't need to bring a coat with me, but if when I go back, I might need one. So, like stuff like that has like become very easy for me to let go of and not be bound to the materials that I have. And don't get me wrong, I like nice things. Like I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, like I'm fine living in a cardboard box, because no, comfort does matter. Like I will die on that hill. But, there are little things in our like healing and spiritual journey that we kind of subconsciously will hold on to, that we don't even realize that we're holding on to. And this is what kind of prevents us from taking the next step in like our personal development. And it's easy to kind of, if you start like looking at your material life, it will reflect back to you like the things that you're holding on to internally. So, to give you all a few examples, last summer, I believe it was probably, oh, maybe around like May or so. I was listening to a podcast and somebody had mentioned it, like clearing out your closet to make room for things that you don't need. And I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. Like, I should go through some stuff right now. This would be a good time. Like, what am I unconsciously holding on to right now? And for me, I was like, oh, that should be no problem. Like, I do this like once a year or so. And when I went to my closet and started going through my things, what I saw was, oh my gosh, like I have still been hoarding my deceased partner's shirts for 9 years. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with keeping items of loved ones that have passed away. I think it's very special to hold on to things like that. But at the time, I've not had a great track record in my love life. I'll be the first to admit it. And as somebody that was trying to call in like long-term sustainable relationship, it became like I became aware. I was like, you know what? Like I've got to let go of these things. Like at the time it had been about 9 years. And I was like, after it being 9 years, I was like, I can't take this into the next relationship. And those shirts had just been in circulation for so long, that not that they lost their meaning, but like the meaning had become unconscious. And like as somebody that's trying to like move forward in their life and that has like worked through all that grief and bless that moment in my life for what it was, I was like, I'm like subconsciously holding on to this. Like this is time that I get out of fear and let these items go. So I went through everything and like all the shirts of his that I could find. And I was like, I don't feel right just giving these away though. Like, I don't want to just drop these off at Goodwill because there still is like this inherent sentimental value for them. So, what I decided to do was pack them up and mail them to my friend that was also best friends with him because I was like, you know what? For me, that feels like it's not going to somebody that's not going to take care of them. It'll go to somebody that it serves a lot of meaning towards, and they can live through someone else, but it's my turn to surrender these and let them go. And that was a big part of integration, you know, like, and that's not to say that I don't carry like love in my heart for Jonathan, but like moving forward, I'm 10 years down the road on this, you know, like it was time and I'm ready to call in something new. Then we have to like go to these things. Like I can't go to the like husband party and be wearing my Jonathan shirt, you know? So it was mindful integration, not, oh, I've got to get rid of this because if I don't, then I'm never going to call in the right person for me. No, like I still thought about it. And the funny thing was, about a month, 2 months later, I was starting to sift through some things, and underneath a pile of shirts, I found one shirt of his that I had forgotten about and didn't see. And I took that as a sign as it's okay to hold on to one. Like that was my little wink from the universe. And same thing happened recently. When I left to come out here to Southeast Asia, I just wasn't really sure what to expect. And, you know, I spent time becoming a hairdresser, and I was like, you know what? Tattoo artists take their tattoo guns with them. And, so I decided to bring my shears and my combs with me. I was like, you never know. I might be staying at a hostel and someone needs a haircut, like whatever. And it was a good idea at the time. And the further I got into my trip, I wasn't making the kind of connections like I thought. And like the pain of that suitcase being so heavy, part of the weight being from carrying clippers, combs, and shears, I was like, that's like extra kilos that, could save me money if I need to get on a plane and everything. And before I had this in my heart, I was like, okay, like maybe I'm just holding on to something that's not serving me and my ultimate purpose at the end of the day. And I kept looking into how I was going to get rid of it, this and that. And before I left Chiang Mai to come to Vietnam, I was like, okay, I sat and thought about it like for several weeks. I did end up cutting one person's hair while I was in Koh Samui, but to me, that wasn't enough. So I was like, gosh, you've got these, like, to me, I didn't want to just give away the shears though, like that's a big investment. There's a lot of emotions behind them too. And I was like, I don't think I need to just like toss these or donate these, but this is something that I can mail back home. Like I've got to make room for the new identity if I keep trying to show up to be some sort of like writer or embodiment expert, what have you, still dressed up like a hairdresser, then I'm at the wrong party, So I decided to pack up the shears, mail them back home. Honestly, I didn't even check to see if they made it back. And the clippers, I did not have much emotions behind them. It would have been nice to get some money back for them, but at the end of the day, I was like, whatever. I never really liked, I always hated doing clipper cuts anyway. Like if you were, a client of mine, it was honestly no offense. It just wasn't my thing. So what I did was I took him down to a donation center in Chiang Mai and I donated him. And there was a part of me that like felt really good because I was like, I finally kind of like let go of this identity of having to do service based work for survival. Like, that's always been in the back of my head, um, as something that was part of my identity, like part of my career and work identity that I was unconsciously holding on to. Like, yeah, like hairdressing is a really good skill to have, like, but I can't just keeping that little piece of me just in case as a safety net if I want to go full force into the new party that I'm trying to throw. Like, we're talking completely different from anything that I've ever done. And there was this like wonderful like feeling of satisfaction in letting those go before I came out here to Vietnam. And as you all can see, like I let them go with tact. I had already done a few Substack posts leading up to that, and I felt solid. I was like, okay, like we're going for this. We're fucking doing the thing. Like, it's time to let that go. I can't take that with me anymore. I mean, shit, it's weighing down my baggage enough as it is. So, like, anything I can lighten my load on now is good. So, that was another part of integration this past year. Like, you have to become the new identity. And in doing that, there are certain parts of ourselves that we can't take with us. We can bless them and thank those parts of ourselves for getting us to where we are now. It's not about disowning it and being like, oh, that was a shameful part of my life, or, like, I don't even want to associate with that anymore. It's just like letting those parts of ourselves stay where they're supposed to stay when it's time to move forward. So I hope that was helpful for you all. Let me know in the comments if you have experienced any of these. Have you taken stock in anything that might be looking back at you that you might need to let go in order to move forward right now? We, we're in this huge part of our society right now where we're being asked to let go of a lot of things that we identified with in order to move forward to a new world. So this isn't just about like your personal experience, but like, how does that look in the collective? Like, when we start letting go of these old parts of ourselves and let them stay where they need to be, what does that give room for us to step into when we're not holding on to this baggage of our old identities? So let me know if this resonated with you. I love to hear any feedback that you all have. If you have not already, make sure you sign up for my free Substack subscription. And if you want to dive even deeper into your personal journey and integration, I definitely recommend that you sign up for my paid content in my Substack. I release audio meditations, transmissions, integrative essays, and kind of like worksheet style things to help you take the time to invest in your own personal development and embodiment journey. It's only $7 a month. So I highly recommend that. It also helps support me as an independent artist. So, yeah, make sure you also share this if you found this helpful. And I will check y'all out on the next one, folks. Stay safe.